You're so close to get what you prayed for. You're so close. But you're about to mess it up. You pray for strength, you feel defeated. You pray for wealth, and you're down on your last dollar. You pray for peace, and people are spreading rumors, spreading lies about your name. You're like, God, it's like you're giving me the opposite of what I prayed for. So you're looking at me like, how can you tell me I'm so close? Shut up. My life is terrible right now. I'm gonna explain to you why this is happening. I'm gonna explain to you why your life feels so terrible. I'm gonna explain to you why it feels like God is giving you the opposite of what you prayed for. This is why. Okay, so here's a parable. There's two guys trying to reach a destination, and they both have two bicycles. The first guy says, all right, I'll take the main route, which will take a couple of days, and then I'll reach the destination. The second guy does the same thing. But guess what? God said to the second guy, throw away your bicycle. What? But the first guy, he's on the main road. God, how can I do that? If I throw in my bike, God's like, just trust me. So the second guy obeys God. He throws away his bicycle and starts walking on the main route, walking for days and days. He's tired. He's thirsty. The heat is just blazing on his head. He's like, God, why? Why did you tell me to throw away my bicycle, God? Now I gotta walk all these days to the destination. And the first guy is probably already there. God, why? Why did you tell me to do that? God's like, just trust me. He's walking, he's tired, he's so thirsty, he's like, man, I need some water. He sees a gas station, goes to the gas station. As he's walking, there's another guy who comes out, and he says to the second guy, he says, hey bro, I see you're thirsty, want some water? I said, yeah. And he says, hey, I have the Tesla. And I thought the Tesla ran on gas, but it didn't run on gas. So now I'm thinking about throwing this Tesla away. Do you want the car? The second guy's like, yeah, of course I'll take the car. So the second guy takes the Tesla, drives to the destination in a few hours, and he reaches his destination before the first guy. And then the first guy came after a week to the second guy, and he says, how did you beat me? That trail was supposed to take a couple weeks. How did you beat me? Because I trusted in my God. And the thing is about you is that you need to trust in God for the process. If he, the person number two, right? If he were to disobey God and say, God, why would I throw away my bicycle, God? That's not the way, because he thought, his plan was, okay, if I need to reach my destination, this is how I imagine it, right? But God says, I have another plan. But God's not going to reveal his plan to you. God is going to just tell you things so you can obey them. Like the second guy, he obeyed God. He threw away his bicycle. He started walking for days. In the midst of his pain and suffering, he questioned God. God, why? I don't understand why. And God said, just trust me. Sometimes, guys, we just need to shut the fuck up. Just trust God. And if he would have never obeyed God, he would have never went to the gas station to get that bottle of water, to get the Tesla from the guy who didn't want the Tesla to reach his destination. Do you understand how God works? God works in ways that we can't understand. So if you pray to God for something, 9 times out of 10 is not going to be the way you expected it. 9 times out of 10, bro. But the thing about God is that the way that God has for you may not look the way that you expected it, but it's going to be way 10 times better. It could be years. If I'm being honest with you guys, it could be years of this. The parable I just used, when the guy was walking on the road for days in the hot heat, that could be for years until God finally gave you. But understand, like, if the more you wait, the more you trust in God, the better it will be. So again, if you're praying for peace and you see all your friends spreading rumors about you, spreading lies about you at school, and you're like, God, I pray for peace, and these guys are just spreading lies in my name. Little that you know, this is God trying to remove the toxic people out of your life so you can be peace with him. Not relying on the peace from the outside situations, but the peace from the inward situation, which is Christ. Because Christ lives inside of you. If you pray for wealth, and then all of a sudden you get laid off from your job, you get fired from your job, and then you get evicted from your apartment because you can't pay the bills, and then you're sleeping inside your car, and you're like, God, like, I literally pray for wealth. And this is like the opposite. I'm down on my last dollar. But little that you know, this is how God is going to build you so you can be grateful and you can work hard. And then you might think, okay, let me start a business. And then you start that business inside your car. And before you know, you're a multimillionaire in 5 years. Okay? This is how God works. But God takes what you prayed for and he's going to give you to it 10 times of what you imagine. But you have to go through the struggle. You have to go through God's plan. Back to the parable I just used. If you do not use God's plan, if you do not do God's way, you're not going to get your blessing at all. But you have to trust. Just trust. Just trust in God, bro. He's God, man. You're not better than God. You don't know more than God. Then come on, lock in, bro. But you might say, but I've been praying and I've been waiting for God to give me what he gave me, but he didn't give it to me. Don't you understand that this is a test? And it's not just a test to see how well you're going to do. It's a test to see, are you going to remain loyal to Christ? Are you going to remain loyal to God? Or are you going to stay, oh, God's not giving me what I wanted, like a coward, like a bitch? He's trying to see. God's going to put you through this difficult situation on purpose so you can see how are you going to react. Are you going to be impatient? Are you going to curse God? Or are you going to not trust in God? Or are you going to lose faith in God? Okay, if you do those things, you fail the test. That's why I said you were so close. You were so close, but you failed. You were so close to get what you want, but you failed. You say, God, I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Is there even a God? I don't know. I've been praying for years, huh? Well, no wonder, because you're failing the test. You're not being faithful and loyal to Christ. Oh, but God is a loving, merciful God. He will never do that. He will never take away my blessing because I'm complaining. He knows I'm a weak human being. Okay. Numbers 14, verse 2. You know the whole story of Pharaoh and Egypt, the plagues and all that. So as they were exiting, Egypt and trying to go to the promised land, and it was water in the wilderness. The Israelites were complaining to God. Oh, God, just take it too long. Oh, God, what you promised is the promised land, God. Numbers 14, verse 2. If only we had died in Egypt or even here in the wilderness, they complained. Why is the Lord taking us to this country only to have us die in battle? Our wives and our little ones will be carried off as plunder. Would it be better for us to return to Egypt just complain like a bitch, right? And God says, all right, you failed. This was a test. It was a test. It says it deliberately in the Bible. So you can't say, oh, well, God won't punish me. God won't take away my blessing because I'm complaining because God knows I'm a weak human being. No, he will. Because the Israelites did the same thing. And the Israelites, guess what? Every single person who's complaining did not enter the promised land. They actually died in the wilderness. They never went to the promised land. God took it away just like that because they failed the test. They failed the test! They failed the test. They was complaining, oh, God, instead of just trusting in God. Just trusting in God, trusting in His plan. They could have been in the promised land, enjoying the land filled with milk and honey. But no, they was complaining. Sounds like you, right? You complain to God. Oh, God, it's taking too long. Oh, God, why, God? Why are you putting me through this, God? No. Stop complaining to God. Stop questioning God. How can you question the Most High God? Come on, bro. See my point? You have to endure the test. Once you pass the test, God will give you what you want 10 times what you imagined. But if you keep on complaining and being a bitch, He won't. Genesis 37, if Joseph, who got sold into slavery by his brothers, got falsely accused, went to jail before he became emperor of Egypt, right? If he was complaining to God, say, God, why you put me in jail, God? You said that I was going to rule over my brothers, God. Why, God? And God would be like, all right, I'll leave you right there. Do you understand? God hates. Displeased is an understatement. God hates when we complain, especially when He has the blessing. Because think about it, God's in heaven. The blessing is right there. He's waiting for you to endure the testing, and you're complaining. Do you know that upsets God so much? I don't think you understand how much that upsets God so much. Stop this nonsense. Stop complaining to God. Just trust in the Lord. You cannot be stubborn with the Most High God. God doesn't owe you shit. God does not owe you anything. He is God. So He can do anything He wants. He can do anything He pleases. It's in the Bible. So you feel like, oh, you're entitled for a blessing. You deserve a blessing. Who are you? Who are you, bro? Exactly. So stop thinking that you're entitled for a blessing. So when you don't get a blessing, you're like, God, oh, God. Shut up. You know God doesn't have to do anything, right? God can just say, all right, so long, no blessing for you. Because you're complaining, you're testing me. Guys, we need to be, like, you need to approach it with a humble approach. Like, you need to be humble for the Most High God. Why? Who do you think you are? And this is, people don't know who God is. People have no idea who God is. Because if you truly knew who God was, you would not be talking like this to the Most High God, Jesus Christ, the King of the universe. What is wrong with you? And guys, it's not just about you approaching God for your blessings. It's about in general. This is why you're not getting what you prayed for. This is why you're enduring so much suffering. And you're saying, God, why? Because it's a test. And when you're going through the test and you fail and you complain and you bitch, God's going to take away your blessing. As a matter of fact, guys, I'm going to go even a little deeper. It's not just about the blessings, right? I said it's about everything. You should approach God humbly in all realms. You should not obey God and be humble and do everything right for the blessings. Guess what? You're committing idolatry. What? How? Because you are idolizing your blessings. You're doing everything right, not because you love God, but you're doing everything right because of the blessings, because you need the blessings, because you want the blessings, because you're idolizing the blessings. So you say, okay, I'll read my Bible, okay, I'll fast, okay, I'll pray, okay, I won't sin anymore because I want to get my Tesla. I want to get my Lamborghini. I want to be rich. I want to have a girlfriend. Do it because you love God. Do it because you love God. Why? And I want to be real, guys. If you watch this till then, this is actually the real reason why you haven't got what you prayed for yet. You want to hear it? It's because you're doing it for the blessings. You're focused on the blessings. You're idolizing the blessings. You're praying to God every single day for the blessings. You must do things because of the love of God. What's the greatest commandment? The greatest commandment is love God with all your heart, soul, and might, and love your neighbor just as you love yourself. Love! But you're loving the materialistic things, right? The riches, the wealth, the fame. No, you need to love God. Like there's two types of people who you don't want to be. You got two people who will never get God's blessings, will never get what they prayed for, and will never ever experience the glory of God in terms of their life. You know why? Because one person is stubborn, saying, oh God, why have I got what I prayed for, God? Oh, I've been waiting for 10 years, God. I've been praying for like a bitch, right? And they got another person who says, okay, God, yes, I'll obey you. I'll do everything right for you. But really, it's fake obedience. Because they're doing it not for God. They're not obeying God because they love God. They're doing it because of the blessings. They say, okay, I need to be good so I can get my blessings. I need to be good so I can get my Lambo. I need to be good so I can get my girlfriend. These two types of people will never get their blessings, ever. It's the person who obeys the word, obeys the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation. They obey the Bible front to back because they love God, because they love Jesus, because they want to make God proud. Yes, they still ask for blessings, of course. Ask, you shall receive. You're supposed to ask God, but they be good and they live righteously because they love God, not for the blessings. The blessings, because they know that God blesses those who truly fear Him and seek Him. Not those who say, oh God, I'm complaining, God. Maybe God will hear me if I complain. God is on you shit. And then you say, oh, I'm going to obey for God. I'm going to be righteous for God so I can get my blessings. You're idolizing the blessings. Think. Only the person who obeys God will get what they ask for. So in conclusion, just understand that you need to love God and trust God fully, not because of the blessing, but because you actually love God. But also understand that when you pray for something, understand it's not going to be easy. God's not just going to give it to you and say, hey, here you go. Here's richness. Here's wealth. Here's prosperity. No. You're going to work for it, buddy. Read. This is why people do not read the Bible at all. Read the Bible and see how God is. See who God is. See how He works. See how He operates. See His traits. Every single person who's been blessed by God in this Bible, in this book, has went through a test. You are not an exception, bro. You will go through testing. You prayed for it. Remember? You prayed for this, bro. So don't complain to God. Why is this happening to me? You prayed for it. This is God saying, I'm giving you what you prayed for. If you don't want it, if you want to be a loser and not struggle and not have anything, okay, so be it. There's losers in this world. There's losers in the Bible. The devil. But you understand me, guys. You need to trust in God. Because if you ask the King of the universe, brace yourself because it's not going to be easily given. May the Lord be with you. Be more like Jesus. I'm out.